Welcome to How to Get a Job with the Federal Government, a guide for job seekers utilizing the Schedule A hiring authority. This is the first of 3 modules in this training series. This module, Module 1, guides a candidate on how to obtain a Schedule A letter from the Department of Rehabilitation. First, let's look at the many advantages to working for the federal government. Federal employees serve in a wide variety of exciting jobs, earn good wages, receive medical benefits, and make a difference throughout public service. The federal government hires people in many different fields, from accounting to public affairs, healthcare to law enforcement, and everything in between. Most of the time, to get hired for a federal job, an individual must go through a competitive process which is open to all applicants. However, Schedule A streamlines the hiring process for persons with disabilities, and in some instances, hiring officials may select solely from a list of qualified Schedule A applicants. The Schedule A hiring authority is one of the paths that can greatly benefit youth and adults with disabilities who have an interest in beginning a career with the federal government. Schedule A can be a fast-track way for federal agencies to bring in talented individuals. When properly implemented, it's a win-win situation for both the individual and the hiring federal agency. Go to www.opm.gov and select Job Seekers with Disabilities for more information. Okay, let's move on to the 3 steps to applying with the federal government under a Schedule A appointment. Each step will be covered in a 5-minute training module that guides an individual in utilizing the Schedule A hiring authority. First, the job seeker obtains a Schedule A letter. This can be done at their local Department of Rehabilitation office, where a DOR counselor will assist the individual. The DOR website at www.dor.ca.gov provides the location of DOR offices throughout the state. After obtaining a Schedule A letter, the job seeker sets up a profile on usajobs.gov and uploads the Schedule A letter. And the last step is for the job seeker to search for and apply for a job as a Schedule A candidate. Now let's talk about who is eligible to apply for a federal position through Schedule A. Schedule A can be utilized if the individual is a person with an intellectual disability, a severe physical disability, or a psychiatric disability. In order to be selected, the candidate will need to show that they meet the qualifications of the job with or without reasonable accommodation. Let's get into the details. In order to be eligible for employment through the Schedule A non-competitive process, documentation of the disability is required. Such documentation is used to verify that the individual being hired is indeed a person with an intellectual disability, severe physical disability, or psychiatric disability. Documentation of eligibility for employment under Schedule A hiring authority can be obtained from a licensed medical professional, for example, a physician or other medical professional certified by a state to practice medicine, a licensed vocational rehabilitation counselor, for example, a state vocational rehabilitation counselor. In California, this is the Department of Rehabilitation counselor or any federal agency or state agency that issues or provides disability benefits. It is advisable to have this letter ready before you apply under Schedule A. Let's cover how to obtain a Schedule A letter from the Department of Rehabilitation. To obtain the Schedule A, an individual can contact their local Department of Rehabilitation office to ask about obtaining a Schedule A letter. To find the nearest DOR office location, the job seeker can go to the DOR website at www.dor.ca.gov. Here are some tips on obtaining the Schedule A letter. Please contact the local DOR office ahead of time to speak with a counselor about the best way to get the Schedule A letter. This is a good time to discuss what information is needed to obtain the letter. For example, state identification or passport, as well as any disability documentation, such as a letter from a medical doctor, a Social Security Disability Benefits Award letter, a psych education report from a school, and/or similar documentation. Bring all needed information when meeting with the rehabilitation counselor so they can provide the Schedule A letter upon that first meeting. This is a sample of the Schedule A letter that will be completed by a rehabilitation counselor at the DOR office. The letter lists all of the contact information for the DOR Vocational Rehabilitation Counselor. The letter reads, "This letter serves as certification that the above-named individual is an individual with a documented disability identified by the Department of Rehabilitation, DOR, policy, and can be considered for employment under the Schedule A Hiring Authority 5 CFR 213.3102U for people with intellectual disabilities, severe physical disabilities, or psychiatric disabilities. Thank you for your interest in considering this individual for employment." The rehabilitation counselor's contact and signature is on the bottom of the page, just in case the hiring agency wants to contact the counselor. If there are any questions or concerns about the Schedule A Hiring Authority, please contact the U.S. Office of Personnel Management, OPM, at 202-606-1800 or at disabilityemployment@opm.gov. To find a local Department of Rehabilitation office to obtain a Schedule A letter, please visit www.dor.ca.gov. Thank you.